Wow, that is really cool. Thanks, man. That's good. I love that. You rock, man.
I just know that if that was me, I would be running up the ladder. I would be running and running. I would be so scared.
Oh, you mean in the part where Nurse Edna is?
Yeah, where she's chasing you and you have to run up the ladder or she's gonna catch you.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of times like that. For those of you who are just joining us.
Oh yeah, did you hit record already?
Yeah, I had to. You said a lot of great stuff before, but it's only now that I realized that I had to hit record on here. We're here with
Gilbert.
Your name is. You want to go by the name of Gilbert?
Yeah, that's my handle on World of Warcraft. He's a big goblin, and he carries a ball and chain with him.
Oh, well, like so you want me to call you that? You want me to use that as your?
Yeah, Gilbert. You could say that Gilbert that Gilbert the Goblin. That you have Gilbert the Goblin on your show. And then people think you have a goblin on your show.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Like we're doing it like we're in a fantasy land or something?
Yeah, like you're in Middle Earth or something. Like you're just in this fantasy land.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
And then you could have a troll on the show. Like a big troll, and you could say, "Did you just get into a battle with a witch or something? Because you look tired. You want a sandwich?"
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, we could ask him if he wants a sandwich. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you're just now entering in here. Where Gilbert the
Goblin.
Goblin.
Yeah, no, Gremlin. Say Gilbert the Gremlin.
Oh, like Gremlin from the Gremlins movie?
yeah. Could you imagine that? A Gremlin from Gremlins in World of Warcraft, but you can't get them wet because, I mean, they can't go into any bars or drink any Pilsner because they'll get wet. They'll get wet and then they'll get crazy.
Oh yeah, because they're little fluffy creatures first, and then
they get big crazy ears.
That's right. So we're talking about Lucasfilm games today, and we're talking about Maniac Mansion. We're talking about Zach McCracken. We're talking about.
Oh, what was the name of that video game where I first met you in that video game place, Software Etc. Remember in the Stratford Square Mall? I was working.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were working there. That's right. Okay, that's right. So that's how we met. My brother Josh and I.
Yeah, we let you guys stay afterwards because we were talking about Maniac Mansion, and you guys were so excited about it. We felt bad closing the store. And plus, you guys had a lot of great tips, and you taught us some great stuff on what to do when we are faced with the strange situations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was, and I got to say that I attribute that because to hanging out with my brother, to be able to have these two minds both working on this thing, and then I'd be off at school during the day, and then he'd be off at school, be thinking about it, we're trying to figure out the thing.
Oh, yeah, because back then you couldn't look up the answers. There were no strategy guides.
Oh, that's true. What I loved about the Lucasfilm games is that they always came with some interesting code. See, that was another piece of my education to Lucasfilm games, is that in addition to teaching me about secret codes to be able to figure out answers and to piece things together, to be like a Sherlock Holmes, they would have a newspaper that came with Maniac Mansion.
I remember that newspaper, and there was one in there where the guy with the bare feet, he got hit by a lightning bolt or something, and then from that point forward, anywhere he walks, it's completely silent. You cannot hear him one bit.
That's right. Yeah, he walks very adeptly through situations. He's one of the characters you choose for the game. And so we would stop at this software, etc., this place upstairs at Stratford Square Mall, Josh and I, and we would talk with these guys, these older guys, and we talked to them about all kinds of crazy stuff.
And I that's why I showed you that video game where there are helicopters and people are shooting at you, and then you have to shoot the bad guys, because then the people who are running away, they have to run up the ladder. They have to run up the ladder to get into the helicopter.
That's right. They have to run quick up the ladder, because otherwise those other guys are going to shoot at him, right? I think there are even tanks or something.
Yeah, you have to shoot tanks and the men inside of the tanks, and then bullets flying too. You have to shoot the bullets out of the sky.
That's amazing. So we were hugely influenced by these Lucasfilm games. They would come with that newspaper, and then it would give you clues that you could utilize for when you played the game. The supplementary materialistics. So yeah, those games really taught me a lot, and I'm so happy that they're coming back, and it's so exciting to be one of those who these great games are funneling through. Pick something you love, folks. Follow it. Give birth to it. Keep growing it more. Right now, I've got this view of palm trees. I got the sound of those birds. You can hear them. You can hear those birds. We got the trees out there. We've got the telephone poles over here. Wow. So peaceful. These clouds are morphing as they're moving. Morphing clouds. Morphing trees, tree bushes. Here come those squirrels. Here come the squirrels. Come on, guys. Come on now. Little bird in the sky. Watch you fly, wow. Watch you fly, high, high, high. Little bird in the sky. Watch you fly, high, high, high. I'm going to make amends with the fact that I need to paint out here on the balcony. It's beautiful out here. Nature's a big deal. Grab whatever you can. We got flowers in our we got plants. Wonder what would happen if I gave ozonated water to plants. Oh, well, see, that's oxygen. They survive off of carbon dioxide. Or carbon dioxide. Oh man, these guys need to be watered. Here I am talking about nature, the importance of nature. I haven't watered these plants in a while. There we go, let's do it. Well, this one looks like it's got some water there. Alright, so I just put one of those plants outside. might as well. My goodness. You're thirsty. These are... Wow. What? Mission accomplished. I put plan number 2 outside. We got some sunlight.
And now it's time to put some more water into this other plant. And then we can put that one outside too. We can put that right out there in the sun. Give it some sun for once in its life.
Okay, I will do that.
Please, you're killing Mother Nature.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right, so the plants are now outside. They have water. It's important, very important, very important. And the Christmas tree is still up. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. And now we take you to an airplane. Oh, pardon me, I misspoke. That's a UFO. Thank you for listening. And And now, other things.
Weekends and stuff like that. And a lot of times they order a burger without the bun, and the dog eats the burger.
For the dog?
Yeah, for the dog. I know. It's like,
Good life over there.
yeah, I know. It's like.
So going back to the Turnbulls, where does the name come from?
The name, I kind of picked the name. We both agreed to it. We went through a lot of names. But
we wanted something that
connected to
Whittier,
So that's why we picked Turnbulls. Also I saw a TV show about Turnbull Canyon, on Channel 3 on TV.
Okay.
I got into all those shows.
All the historical?
Yeah, all the And I'll watch that for like hours. Robert Turnbull is, I think it's, something like Turnbull, So the history, I said, well, this name is Turnbull, everybody knows that name.
Yeah.
So that was, spread the curiosity in the beginning, so, and then it's sounded like a good, restaurant, bar, slash.
There you go.
Yeah, good tavern.
It's a nice tavern. We wanted to be our neighborhood tavern that everybody feels comfortable in.
My buddy John Garside from Forgotten Tales, he works in Whittier, and he just decided to turn on the What's Up Whittier podcast, and he heard that little piece that you just heard me play on there. He directed me to that little piece, and basically these guys were inspired to name their tavern Turnbull Tavern. They're inspired because they saw John Garside's Forgotten Tales video series on Channel 3, on the government channel out there in Whittier. And it's interesting because John was telling me when he called me, he called me up right after he heard this on the podcast as he was listening. Because he lives in a different town than Whittier right now, so he's got a long drive, and he'll listen to Inspirado Projecto, and this time he's like, I'm putting on What's Up Whittier just to see what's going on. So anyway, back in the beginning, what's interesting was his wife Mary, her favorite restaurant was her favorite Thai food restaurant. What used to be in the same building that this Turnbull Tavern took over. It used to be her favorite Thai food restaurant. It disappeared, became something different, and then all of a sudden, now here comes Turnbull Tavern. The funny thing is, Mary's brother Casey was the face of Robert Turnbull in the Turnbull Canyon documentary, Forgotten Tales. Casey plays him in there. Now, the funny thing is, there were no photos of Robert Turnbull anywhere to be found. John Garside couldn't find any. So every time he showed the picture, a still photo of Casey's face, because he'd make it look, he'd give it grainy and give it grain and make it look, like it was like a real photo. Underneath it, it would say, not the real photo. This isn't, an actor portraying Robert Turnbull. We couldn't find the real photo or something. He said it in an eloquent way. And even at the end of the documentary. Well, since then, there have been these other mini, looks like they're school projects or something like that, where people actually just lifted all of his information about a specific area or something, and then they'd say Robert Turnbull, and it would be the picture of Casey. So Casey is now becoming the face of Robert Turnbull. And the funny thing was, Mary was telling me that she and Casey would always go up into Turnbull Canyon and, get into trouble up there and stuff. I don't know if they used to scare people or whatnot, but he's just had this long, it's sort of like this mysterious thing. A lot of urban legends surrounding it, and John Garside gets to the bottom of these stories. So it's really interesting. So when he first saw that this place called Turnbull Tavern was opening, he had thought to himself, I wonder if they had seen my video series. He just kind of had that thought in his brain, like, I wonder. And how crazy is this? This was that eureka moment, that epiphany moment. While he was driving home, he happens to turn on Whittier, happens to turn on the podcast. Bam! Here's what he heard here's what he heard, then gets a hold of me, and then that's when I shared that thing with you. So it was that quick, just astounding. So yeah, sure enough, you heard the guys say it. They saw those videos, were inspired. Gosh, we just never know how we're going to affect the populace. We never know. He and I were talking about this, like how Michelangelo, how all these great artists way back in the day, they were never, as we always hear about it, they were never celebrated during their time. They were penniless, they were poor, they were starving artists, and then they became famous, or later on after they were dead, and their paintings are, millions of dollars. Well, in this day and age, we actually have the opportunity of the gap between when we create the art and when it's discovered on that level that we're broadcasting to. Once the populace sort of tunes into that station. It's funny, it just takes a few of those Paul Revere's to go, I hear that, and then they usher it in, because they just keep following that sound. So no matter what's happening, all their art, everything they're doing, all their conversation is around that. So you got a few of these who are just going, that's affecting a populace. Because since it's all connected, it's like they're pulling the net, and anything else is getting caught up in it. So interesting how this happens. So this is one of those times where John could actually go into the Turnbull Tavern, talk with these guys, and I mean, could you imagine if these guys start naming some of the items in the menu and drinks after the information that John knows, after historical figures? How cool would that be? As if they painted William Workman. You paint these guys on the outside of the establishment. That'd be pretty cool. So many directions you could go in this. So many directions. There could be plaques with historical information. Oh my gosh, there could be so much. So, yeah, just never underestimate. Always overestimate the. How about that? Instead of never underestimating, how about always overestimate the possibilities into which your words, your actions, your passions can reverberate out there and influence, affect, and inspire a populace. My goodness. And also just know, people, that you always, we've always got these, we always hear about the guides out there. The guides are those things that swoop in. We just got to tune in. Oh, yeah. Oh, here's this piece of information. They're always applauding you. They love what you're saying. They think you're hilarious. And just know that the more you tune into them, the more you're able to hear them. A lot of people can't even hear them. And they're spouting these accolades. So at some point you'll tune in. You'll be able to actually hear those guides laughing for you and providing you with accolades. Always know they're there. Always know they're accessible. All right, keep the Inspirado flowing. Keep that in mind. Wowzers! I gotta tell you, oh my goodness! You know what's so funny? I had just gotten done talking about the phenomenality of not knowing how the seeds from way back then are going to germinate, how they're going to grow, how they're going to marinate. Are they going to grow below the surface and come through? I just got done talking about how kick-ass that's been going on for John Gar's side and in so many ways. And all of a sudden now I just received a phone call from my buddy Louis MacGruder. Louis MacGruder, I knew way back. I've known since Columbia College. And he had written, it was a short film called Big Shot, The Big Shot. And he's like, yeah, I want to film this. I want to shoot this someday. Will you play this character? His name is Eros, E-R-O-S. I say, yeah, absolutely. And so then, we ended up graduating. I ended up moving to California, 2000. Then I ended up finding out he's out here. And he showed me all around, without me even realizing it, showed me all around this neighborhood that I ended up moving into. And what's so interesting now that I think about it, wow. This is one of those moments in time where you go, okay, why didn't I just say something or do something? It's much better to face the embarrassment, because then otherwise it lives as a mystery in your memory, which is this. I'd been seeing a lot of these American Express card billboards around. A lot of those and Angeline billboards. Those were plentiful. Angeline billboards have disappeared from the landscape. Look that up. Angeline. Angelyne. So I noticed the Angeline billboards, and I noticed these American Express billboards with David Lynch's face on there. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is fantastic. How cool is that David Lynch is seen like all over the billboards and stuff. So we're driving around this neighborhood, and we decide to stop in this place for yogurt. So Lewis and I and his girlfriend at the time, who looked a lot like my friend Katie Cassis. She looked a lot like Katie Cassis. And Katie Cassis actually ended up moving out here for a short time with some of our other Columbia College friends. Becky Israel, for instance. She was one of my roommates. Anyway, there's a whole treasure trove of things going on here. All these things all at once, with people moving out here from Columbia College. Matt Brent, well, he became Matt Simmons once he joined SEG. He's another Columbia College buddy. Darren Toonder, another buddy. All these great... John Wellner, he played Gilligan in a made-for-TV movie about Gilligan. John Wellner. All these just wonderful, wonderful people. All these wonderful people moved out here. So, Louis MacGruder, he was, one of the first ones to show me around town. We went out to Santa Monica, hung out. We went to Magic Mountain. It was really cool. It was like, wow, this is great. And then we kind of, went off, did our own thing, and then we reconvened again. Columbia College had a night where they were talking to the new students. They had something called Semester in LA, where a lot of these Columbia College students from Chicago were coming out to Los Angeles, and they're trying to get their bearings on this place. And my friend Cupid, who was in charge of the relations between she was like the bridge, the connector, her and Sarah Schroeder, connecting the Chicagan Columbia Collegians, Chicagan Columbia Collegians with the Los Angeles Columbia Chicagans, Colombians, and to kind of set them up in this industry. So I wanted to go in for this meeting, and I wanted to kind of be the side that's like, look, things don't have to be scary. Trust me, a lot of it has to do with just following the magic and just seeing how it all evolves, and then just give them a bunch of ideas and stuff. Well, Louis MacGruder happened to be there, so we reconnected, and it turns out that he was working on a number of different, some TV show, and he was working on a movie, and no, it's called The Big Life. I think it's called The Big Life, either called The Big Shot or The Big Life. And so he had kind of stopped writing that and was writing other things, and then we went our ways, and then I ended up having him as a guest in the K-Chung Studios, which that audio is out there someplace. I'm going to start taking all of the archives of all of the K-Chung shows. I'm going to start putting those up on the Mixcloud. Should you ever decide to want to hear those, because those I've been giving you samples as to the roots of Inspirado Projecto, where they stemmed from, what made it what it is, and while you're learning about what it is, you're actually simultaneously living it at the same time. You're actively participating in this video game experience for your avatar. You're just going, hey, well, let's be playful with this. Let's test this stuff out. Let's see what happens. And when you start messing with the program your brain first, and it goes out there to the big mind. It's very, very intriguing to see how this stuff starts evolving in all kinds of directions. And this Louis MacGruder thing, wow! I just got done talking about how we never know how this stuff is going to reverberate. And I mean, that was I can't even tell you, 1998 maybe. What if I was a jerk to that guy? Like, how crazy is that? You just never know. So anyway, this is the zinger. This is one of those moments where I regretted. It was basically, we stopped into this yogurt shop, and in there was a man who looked like David Lynch. He had the same hair. He was sitting there with a woman and a little kid. It looked like a little kid. And the man had shorts on and a t-shirt. And he looked short. He was sitting in a chair, but he looked short. And I thought, that man looks just like David Lynch, but there's no way that could be David Lynch. There's no way. Even on a hot day like this, I could not imagine David Lynch wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And I kick myself for not saying anything. I remember saying something to Lewis and his girlfriend at the time, going, "Oh my gosh, I think that's David Lynch." And they were saying stuff like, "Well, maybe you ought to go over there and talk to him." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So it's always best, at least for me, to say this out loud and hear myself say it, to embarrass myself, quote, embarrass myself, unquote, if I even view it as such. The embarrassment comes from dropping the ball on ourselves. The embarrassment comes from an unexpected outcome and going, well, if it's not, then I'm gonna die inside. Well, that's not a necessary response. It's not necessary. We can say, well, I'm gonna go up to that guy, and I'm gonna say, are you David Lynch? And then, just if it makes it easier, come up with a backup plan. Then you can always say, okay, well, here's my safety net. Well, if it is David Lynch, well, then what are you going to say next? That might be interesting. Especially if it's hard for us to gather our words when we're in front of people who we admire. It might be good to have like this little backup thing. Like, what's that little thing? So even if it says, no, I'm not, you can always be like, wow, well, he's one of my favorite directors. What are your thoughts about David Lynch? You can always just roll out of it. It doesn't have to be like, oh, okay, God, sorry, God, I didn't mean to bother you. There's no consequence. He's not going to pull out a machete. He's not going to pull out a samurai sword and get you. And Harry Carey, holy cow! The only Harry Carey I know is me, and that's holy cow! Wow, Harry Carey is here. I didn't realize that he was around. Holy cow! I love your podcast. Holy cow! Thank you, Harry Carey. Thank you. So, just realize you never know how your actions, your words, things are going to marinate through the years. How any of that's going to happen. All this stuff is happening all at once. Check out Diablo's Den. There's an interesting documentary put up by Lawrence and Elliot, these two kids. There's a Diablo's Den documentary. Look it up. Diablo's Den. Also, a number of other interesting artifacts out there in the world. The Dr. Frank's Ghoul Butter Zombie Bars commercials are also out there. Dr. Frank's Ghoul Butter Zombie Bars. Check those out. Some people are thinking it might be made by the Meat Clown Industries. But I don't know. Those guys, you never know which directions they're going in. I always thought there was mostly meat-related stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me if they started getting into chocolate-type stuff. So, having said that, my mind is exploded. Oded, and a folded, and a showed it, and a folded, and a noted, and a boated, mana noted, and a zabazoded. By the way, I want to thank Michael T. Justice for that wonderful, wonderful comment, and also Roxanne. Their podcasts are fantastic, and you never know who may stop by and endorse your podcast. You might get Stan Lee might be throwing you accolades. Carl Sagan, Jack Nicholson, John Travolta, Tony Danza, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, both bosses, right? Who's the boss and the boss. Also, sometimes, just all kinds of folks. So you will get a theme song. If I never sang you a theme song, you will in fact get a theme song. If you are hearing this now and you choose to applaud this episode, or if you happen to hear any of these other celebrity endorsements floating around out there in people's messages, please feel free to applause, and then I can find you. That's how I can find you. Or you don't have to participate. Or if you do want to participate even more, you can send your audio message to Inspirado Projecto @gmail.com. Also, if you're on Anchor, you can leave a message here. Send me your most fake laughter. Okay, that's what I would love to hear, is your most fake laughter, because I would like to include it in future episodes, because all this, of course, is real. This is all real laughter right here. I just want to integrate your fake laughter into the real laughter. So I think it would add an extra spice, extra seasoning. Thank you for listening. Take care.